My name is Anel Imanbay. I'm originally from Kazakhstan and I moved first time to Portugal in 2015. Today I have organized TEDxMarvila, speaking TED Talks, TEDx Talks in Portugal, and I'm the latest guest at Simple Life Portugal.
Welcome back, or welcome to another episode of Portugal, the Simple Life, and I'm really happy to be joined today by Anel Imanbay. Anel, bon dia. Thank you for being on the podcast. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Mainly because yesterday was Portugal Day, and also because it was my son's birthday. He was born on Portugal Day, and he turned 5. So I'm doing great.
Oh, there you go. There's a sign. There's a sign if you're looking for one. If you belong in a place and your son was born on Portugal Day, that's very good.
I can add on that I was born on Republic Day, 5th of October. So
wow, okay,
so definitely there's
definitely some signs there, definitely. Yeah, it's always busy. Your son is 5. Birthday parties are a busy thing at that age. I'll be doing my son's in a month's time for his 7th, so it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
100%.
Yeah, but and now maybe you can start off telling us a bit about you.
So my name is Anel. I'm originally from most landlocked country in the world, one of the most landlocked, called Kazakhstan, Central Asia, very far away. Usually when I tell I'm from Kazakhstan, here in Portugal, people raise eyebrows because it's another country they heard of. I left to do my university and I studied in UK, worked in finance, audit, realized that's not something that gives me joy. And at some point, I've tried myself in sales, commercial roles, and I realized that I don't have any theoretical base of sales, or the closest was that time master's in marketing. So I would move to Portugal in 2015 and start my master's in marketing here.
Okay. So had you been to Portugal before that?
I was visiting, just checking the sightseeing, and it's definitely the country that I fell in love with way before I visited Lisbon. Back at uni, I loved novel of a Remarque called Night in Lisbon, and the way that described Lisbon in the book was really enchanting. And then when I came and witnessed it myself, it was actually, I made a wish looking at the horizon during the sunset that I would love to live in Lisbon. And here I am.
Okay, so you read about Lisbon in a book, then visited, and on that trip made a wish that this would be your home one day.
In 2014, I clearly remember it was maybe 2013, Christmas. I would come here, Christmas time. Really, I was really after UK, and I've traveled quite a lot, but Lisbon had a different soul. I enjoyed it so much, and I really made a wish. I would love to live in Lisbon. So a year after, probably in 2015, I will come to do my master's in marketing here.
Okay, very, very good. So how long did your master's last?
It was a 2-year program, but because I already had work experience year after, in fact, Portugal was the reason why I will join the gaming industry. So after the first year, or during the first year of masters, there was competition within the universities, within the university, and then the national level. And my team, we won a brainstorm competition for a brand called L'Oréal. So we were trying to find a way how a young generation could be attracted to brands like La Roche-Posay. And doing the study and research, we've realized that one of the most attractive tools to attract Generation Z and millennials was through gaming, which I was not very familiar with. So our project will win. And that's how then I will be discovered by a gaming company, and I will join the gaming industry in Portugal. There was a studio based in Portugal, and then the whole story begins.
Amazing. Gaming, a lot of people don't know, it's a massive thing here. You've got now big gaming conventions that happen actually very near to where I live in Abydos. They have the big gaming convention here. Yeah, it's something that people don't know, that a lot of there's a big gaming gaming industry in Portugal.
Yeah, lots of bright people, actually from Portugal, creative people, literally working on game design, meaning how the game will be looking at, what will be the parts of that will interest people. Lots of really bright minds, actually based in Lisbon, or even the foreign studios, big companies. They have studios here in Portugal because of the creative and intelligent people that we have here in Portugal.
Amazing. Take us through, I mean, that those first 2 years, you've made this wish. It's now maybe becoming true. But what was that like, those first 2 years of going from dreaming about a place to actually living and working in that place? How did that go? How was that experience? I know it was a while ago, so you need to try and remember, but
no, I actually remember it well. It was, I think most of the immigrants and expats will relate to me. It's starting again from scratch in a country that you don't know. And unfortunately, I didn't know the language back then. Thankfully, in Portugal, people speak super well English. However, still, I had some struggles to explain myself, or even like for going to coffee, certain basic words I didn't know. I didn't also had time to learn Portuguese back then. It was challenging. So I think the first 2 years in any place, it's quite challenging. And I remember I had hard times. I was trying to see how. So I worked in a Big Four before in EY, and living in UK, working, and then coming here and starting from scratch and not knowing which field to go to. How will I find a job here? So it was not easy for sure. And once I will find a job, I had to find a job and also write my thesis for master's, defend it as well, drive every day from more or less Campo Grande till Tagus Park, because that's where the office was. So every day back and forth. So it was, generally speaking, not as easy as the wish I was made for. But looking back now from where I am today, I think whatever difficulties we have, it's always shaped us to who we become, right? So it's definitely, I also remember it with joy. I love Lisbon regardlessly. So it was, probably now I just have more time to enjoy it than back then.
For sure. But there was obviously something, I mean, were there things here? I mean, you mentioned one thing that you just mentioned, which everybody speaks English, which does help a lot. And when I moved to Portugal in 2009, was when I moved to Portugal. And my biggest concern was, will I be able to communicate? Because I didn't speak any Portuguese, not a word. And one of my experiences was the people did make it really, really easy in terms of, just helping you and going out of their way to communicate and to understand what you're asking or what you're saying. But what were some of the things? I mean, because there's always that dream of moving to a new country and it's all exciting, and then reality sets in those first years where, okay, I don't have those comforts that I had in my home country. I have to find things. I have to substitute things. But what made it easier for you? What do you think about Portugal, about the place, made that transition easier for you?
I think today Portugal that we live today is very different from most likely 2009 when you moved, Dylan, and it's also very different from when I moved in 2015. Yeah. So there was not as many foreigners and expats. It's much easier now because you have much more communities that will support you. I came from, let's say, I came from international background, studying in the UK, where probably 80% were foreign students, or like London is full of international people. So it was very easy to integrate myself. When I moved here, even going to university, I realized that people at my master's degree, most of them already knew each other before. It was like people who did bachelor's and moving straight to master's. Most of them didn't have work experience. So I was feeling a little bit as an outlier. So I will not lie to you that saying that integrating myself to Portuguese society was easy. For me back then was very difficult because it was the setup. Maybe if I joined the work straight after, it will have been easy because it's different setup. So the years after, it was much easier because I found myself, okay, at work, I was busy with thesis. I've already learned the culture in a way. I learned some words in Portuguese. And also I've realized that I would like to pursue my passions. That's like what I would like to do what I enjoy during my free time. For example, one of the things I really enjoyed is self-development. So I will join oratory club called Toastmasters, and there I will find friends. It will be my also way of expressing myself. And that's where another kind of support groups. And I think for people who move anywhere in the world, it is always great to find this kind of support groups of people who are like-minded and that make it easier. So I'm sure for those who are introverts, it might be difficult, but even for those groups, there's interesting clubs like, I don't know, reading clubs or I don't know, for gamers, Dragon Dungeon groups, or lots of clubs, societies, communities right now exist, and it's so much easier to integrate yourself, I believe, especially in Portugal.
Very interesting. Okay, so let's go move forward a bit from there. You've done your master's, you've worked a little bit. Now, what happens next? What makes you decide to carry on in Portugal? What made you decide to stay?
I will have a break between 2019 and 2021. I will need to leave due to my partner's assignment abroad. So I would leave in Namibia. And I was not planning to leave for so long, but then COVID hit. So and my son will be born in Namibia in 2020. So in the first attempt on Portugal Day in Namibia, but amazing. The moment I had the time to come back to Portugal, like when the borders were more or less open, I would move back in 21 to Portugal, to same city, Lisbon. And of course, I think returning that time was very different. So I came back with my son. I had a job, and then I had different aspirations. I wanted to try different things in my life as well. So it was very different. And I will learn Portuguese because of my full-time job, and my son was just a year old. I didn't want to give him to nursery. So he will stay home, and nanny that will be watching him, she didn't speak English. She only spoke Portuguese.
Oh, good.
And that's how I will learn Portuguese, actually. That's
so
how
I would learn Portuguese because of the nanny.
Yeah, it was a survival.
That's the best way.
Mode.
That's the best way.
Yeah, well, I actually highly recommend. Really, I think that was such a forced environment that I really had to explain what I would like for my son and etc. So that's how I learned. So thanks to her.
Yeah. Were you missing Portugal when you were in Namibia?
Very much. I love Namibia. I'm very grateful for that experience.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful
place.
Beautiful.
You've been there. Nice.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
I'm from South Africa, so Namibia is right next door.
Oh, yeah. And then you know the drill. So beautiful country. But I've lived here enough to build friendships, to build comfort zone, and I genuinely missed my friends, missed the food. I love the simple fish with the vegetables that Portuguese tasca makes. So it was really. I had lots of nostalgia going back, and as I told you, the first attempt I would move to Portugal.
Really, really good. I mean, you mentioned the tascas and the food because, I mean, Lisbon has changed a lot over the last 10 years. But Lisbon back then, when you were there, when I first came, it was just tascas and the traditional Portuguese places where the men with their white shirts and their aprons, and you had your 5 plates of the day and those kind of things. And you probably got to experience Portugal at its authentic in its authentic way. I mean, what were the things that you've appreciated about that compared to what Portugal is today?
Oh, I think that will be a tough answer. I mean, because I think I'm a foreigner myself, and an expat living here. It's interesting to see that such transition, because I remember going to Peña Palace, and there was no queues at all, and I'll be alone visiting it. Like there will be no soul just inside the palace. And these days, if I have guests or friends coming, I just tell, like, you guys go alone. I'm not going, because it's just going to take me entire day. I think that's what is becoming interesting, but I think that's a factor of globalization. So what I enjoyed, and I can imagine the Portuguese locals, they will feel the same pain. Like they could enjoy certain monuments and really absorb all the energy and have a time with no rush to kind of appreciate what they have. And these days, no one can do that, because it's full of tourists, it's full of people, and it's becoming just like any other megapolis in the world. So this is what is, I think, challenging. But still, there's another day I was meeting an old friend of mine, and he moved out quite a few years ago from Lisbon, and he said Lisbon has changed. The soul, he loved Lisbon for its soul, and today it's a different city. And I was trying to convince him that Lisbon, as soulful as before, you just need to know the places, probably. And
there's still pockets of soul in and around the city, for sure.
For sure.
You've also come back with a child. Now that's a huge change for anybody, when you're looking at moving to a place and you're moving on your own. Like when I moved up, I came on my own. I was on there were no wife, no kids. And you've gone away. Now you're planning to move back to Portugal with a baby. Did that make you see the place in a different way as well, and see other benefits and other good things about the place for coming back with a young child?
Amazing answer. And I think for people who want to build their family or raise their kids, Portugal is an amazing place. I genuinely love it. I'm enjoying it more with my son than when I didn't have him, because I love the education system in Portugal. I love the nursery, how they take care of the kids. My son started nursery when he was 2 years and 2 months. But after I gave him to nursery, I was thinking I should have done it earlier. Like, why did I wait for it? Like, they're so good. His progress was really fast. The healthy food options, healthy legumes, everything that we have here. It's just fruits, seasonal fruits. I think this is all like maybe it's tiny little details, but then it creates the daily routines, and then it creates our lives. But you can create a nice support system. I moved here with my son, so I was just myself and my son, and it still was possible. So if there's I don't know, single mother, solo mother there out there, it is possible to create your own support system, to have to hire help and have a job, right? So I think most of the time, because as a woman, we have to choose: do we sit with our kid, do we work, and sometimes we need to pause our career because we don't know how to sustain our kid. And Portugal gives you this chance. So as long as, of course, you invest in your education and you build up your career, you can really try to manage several buckets at the same time.
Yeah. It's interesting, because I mean I loved Portugal from day one, and something that you just said resonates with me, that you kind of appreciated and loved Portugal more because of your child. And I mean, my son, when he was very young, I was very sick. I had a couple of years of a lot of medical issues. I was in and out of hospital a lot, and he suffered quite a bit with that. But the thing that I noticed not just, from an education point of view, the education system, like you said, is really good and the kids progress and it's great. But there's something that they do here, which is just above and beyond, the way the teachers would hug him, the way the teachers they were affectionate with him. The way that they understood his particular personality and the struggles that he was perhaps going through. They knew that I was in hospital. They knew our other daughter. They knew this, and they were mindful of this when they were dealing with the children. And that's something so special here. And there's that old saying: it takes a village to raise a child, and it couldn't be more true in Portugal. I mean, you mentioned the nanny as well. Just talk about your experience of how these people just do more than what they need to, with love, with affection, to help our children, to help us as well in a way.
I think I cannot tell you that I have a comparison point because I have only one child and we moved when he was 1 here. But genuinely speaking, that I have a comparison with the place that I grew up, for example, or where I studied in UK, or even within Namibia. Portugal has this, I think, I would say it's sunny people. People are full of sunshine inside. It is true that if you check cultural index of the model called Hofstede, you will see that Portuguese society is the most risk-averse of society, right? So they're a little bit closed. But I think also that the same model says that, cultural index says that they are also most loyal. So as soon as you gain their trust, as soon as you show the respect to their culture, to their language, to what they have built, and you treat everything around with the respect that it deserves and love that it deserves, you start to gain this amazing people around you who open their hearts for you, and they become most loyal people in your life, to be honest. So I think that's how I would see Portugal. All Portugal local people, they are very supportive. They are very supportive. They are very kind. If they see that, I think you are genuine and authentic. So it's definitely not a capitalistic, I would say, mentality. But it has this. Maybe that's why I used earlier the word soulful. Lisbon is soulful, and the whole Portugal. If you look at if you travel in small villages, you will still see this authenticity around. And I think in the world we live today, it's a very rare and something that we should greatly appreciate. So whether it's with my son, whether it's for myself and for work, I genuinely appreciate the Portugal we have today.
Between my job as a realtor at Portugal Realty and hosting this podcast, life is pretty busy. But lately I've been receiving so many messages from people that want to know more about buying property here on Portugal's Silver Coast that I've got to do something about it. So starting now, for subscribers only, I'm offering up a 30-minute session per day. That's 5 30-minute sessions for a one-on-one meeting to talk about buying property here on Portugal's beautiful Silver Coast. This is for subscribers only. So please subscribe to book your session and get in touch with us through the links below via WhatsApp or email to book your session today. I'll be happy to speak to you. It's for subscribers only and it's completely free. But you mentioned a key point, and this is something as well that I experienced, was I found when I arrived that people were a bit standoffish, and initially when that happens you kind of think, okay, well, I'm not welcome, or what is it? But it's like you mentioned, the Portuguese are very risk averse. They don't like to put themselves out there. They're very discreet. They value privacy, yours and theirs. But the key thing that you mentioned is when you gain their trust, then you have that friend for life and the loyalty and the love and all of that. How how did you gain their trust? How would you advise? What advice would you give to people that want to do that? That are saying, "Look, I want to be a part of this. I want to integrate. There's a part that we have to play in this as a foreigner coming into this country." What did you do, or what advice would you give to others?
Oh, I don't know if I'm in the position to give advice, but I think number one, don't be fake. That's it. I think it's I think that's number one. Just be authentic. Don't be fake. Whether you are whoever you are, just be yourself. Because I think one of the characteristic that I would see that people don't appreciate here, it's when you're trying to appear someone that you're not. But all in all, I think it's not only about Portugal, but like I've lived in UK, I've lived in Namibia, and I'm originally from Kazakhstan. Treat the country the way you would treat your own country, with respect, love, and care. Like my son is a Portuguese citizen, and I love this country. I want to show my respect to this country. I want to show its beautiful culture to the world. And that's how one of my recent projects were born, TEDxMarvila, because it was a time when I felt like, okay, I'm such a helpless person that cannot change a lot of things around herself. I cannot stop the war. I cannot reverse time, and that we cannot stop spreading certain I don't know, COVIDs and etc. But there's little things we can do in our bubble, in the way that we live. And we can start building that positive impact and maybe educate and share the knowledge with others. And that's by respecting and loving the country and culture you live in. For me, I live in Marvila, a beautiful neighborhood of Lisbon, and not many people know about it. Not many know its history, what it has today. And that's how I actually decided to create the TEDxMarvila project, because I wanted to share this heritage with the world. And certain talks that we will have at the stage of TEDxMarvila was precisely on purpose to make sure we showcase Portuguese culture. Actually all our sponsors were Portuguese brands, number one. And we had amazing talks about Portuguese azulejo, Portuguese tapestry, and it was beautiful memory and footprint we leave for the worldwide audience. As probably you know, TEDx has 45 million subscribers, so showcasing that heritage to the world was for me very important. And I always treat it as a book that I will show to my son, right? So what he would want to know about Marvila, what will he want to know about Portugal, and yeah, I think that's how we should live everywhere. But especially if you're moving to Portugal, try to learn the language. It's the minimum thing we can do as a foreigners to show the respect. Try to follow the culture and respect the culture. try to actually help local communities and do something meaningful, not only profitable, because I think that's one thing that I'm always seeing, that we can see that locals and my friends sometimes they feel frustrated that the house pricing is increasing, and it's very difficult for many people here to sustain their lives. So don't forget that while we building the businesses, we also need to give back to communities here. We need to think, how can we build up a system where we can live in a respectful way with each other.
Yeah. Well, it's a good segue. So tell us about TEDxMarvila and like how that process started and how it's going.
TEDxMarvila, it's another dream that came true. So
do you remember where you were when you wished? Did you make a wish as well?
I made a wish to. So I will like sidetrack.
Sure.
I will tell the real story how it was born. So one of the things I've done in Lisbon when I moved, I would open near where I live, a beauty salon, beauty studio, because I was in the gaming market and gaming industry. So I always thought there's a lot of young energy in me, and I wanted some young energy by opening the beauty salon. And one of the things that I was doing there was B&B Day, Business and Beauty Days. There was workshops for entire day where my team on the salon will teach a woman to do like makeup, self-makeup, to take care of themselves in terms of beauty, and also business part where we will have some talks from successful women in business. Usually I will be always also sharing some my skills and my knowledge. And the last time I've done it was in May 2024. And that day I had super high fever. I really was forcing myself to go. And when I just saw people who came to listen to me and they will start to ask questions and want to learn, I forgot about the fact that I was sick, and I just kind of enjoyed the moment. So reflecting back, for me, that was like a aha moment in a way. I realized that I forgot my first passion that I had here in Portugal called public speaking, Toastmasters. It was really a club, and I talked in this podcast earlier that it was a club that really helped me to gain friends and also to understand myself better, because you have to write your speech in a certain format. You have to be creative, authentic. And I realized that I miss the stages where you can share the knowledge with people, where you can learn new things. And I've attended TED Talks before, and that was one of the things I was like, I would love to have TEDx Talks or TED Talks format here in Marvila. And at the same time, I always like to do things meaningful that will have impact in a meaningful way to the people around me. And I thought, what can be better than having a day which will remind people what it is to be a human. So the theme of our first event was the art of being human. And we had great day full of people in a beautiful venue called Convento de Beato with amazing speakers that most of them you probably know. So it's so it was a magical day for people who attended, for people who spoke on stage, and for me to realize how much people were willing to make a change around them. So we had 70 volunteers, both Portuguese and foreign volunteers, to help. 33 brands were sponsoring us. So.
Wow. Amazing. And so how many have you had since now? How many events?
It's it's once a year event. It's event for 1,000 people. So you can imagine that it takes a lot of time to prepare. In my case, I did not have a lot of time to prepare. So it was a bit rushed because I just wanted to have that venue for the event. So I had to kind of juggle in a bit in between. I returned from that conference at the end of October from Atlanta last year. And that's when we started to do on like full speed preparation. So basically total 4 months, but discount in December because no one usually works during December. So because of Christmas.
Brilliant. Amazing. We've had a number of crossovers, I think, with guests that I've had on the podcast that spoke at TEDx. Natalie Turner, the lady Ines with the azulejos. Really fascinating. What have you learned about Portugal as a result of doing this and of the people that have talked at your event?
What I learned about the Portugal.
Can be, yeah.
I had amazing speaker lineup. So in terms of the new knowledge and new theory and new takeaways, there was a lot because every speech was different. We had topic in dentistry, we had topics in culture, in art, in neuroscience, psychology. So much like in terms of new takeaways. I would say it was gigantic knowledge learning experience for everyone who attended, especially for me, because I was in the preparation, in the organization team. But what I learned about Portugal, I think the number one is that we have biased idea about Portugal that it is very slow. It's a chill country and it's very slow. And in fact, I learned that actually, if you want to make certain things happen, you can make it happen in a amazing speed, and you can build up as long as you are actually leading the process and you are the one who kind of sets up deadlines. So it's true, it's better to prepare. I'm not saying that's the right way to do things, but there was a cliche that it will be impossible to do things in such a short period of time of preparation. And I've just learned that actually it is possible if you really push hard.
Yeah. Let's talk about your village a little bit. One of the guys that you also had, you mentioned the dentistry, that was Miguel Stanley, an amazing guy. He was also on the podcast, and his message on the podcast was, don't change the bitok. Let's keep certain things the same. There's things that work in Portugal and we need to preserve those things. But you're in a part of Lisbon, it's a neighborhood of Lisbon that it's not overly touristic. Like you mentioned, most people don't know that it's there. I also live in a part of the country that's just authentic, and it's the real Portugal, and the tascas and the lovely cafes and these kind of things. But what do you enjoy living? What do you enjoy? Anel, the mom, and just the woman. What do you enjoy about living in a authentic place like this?
I live in Marvila, and I think the name of it really describes it. So Marvila comes from maravilhoso, right? So marvelous Marvila.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really marvelous because it's you have the beautiful Tejo River next to you, and it is a neighborhood that is really transforming. So it's actually you will see that there's abandoned factories that renovated to the art galleries right now, or certain like go-to places of Lisboners. You see that there's new developments, architectural developments that was designed by famous architects of the world. That there is a nice blend of Portuguese authenticity and I'll say foreign mind, and I think that's what I enjoy because. This is me. I'm a foreigner who really calls Lisbon and Portugal her home. For me, this is home. I've lived here most of my life, and I love it for its soul, for its authenticity. And I will agree with Miguel that I don't want it to change because I fell in love with the old Portugal. But at the same time, I live in a place called Marvila where there's a transition. There's a space that people wouldn't go because there was abandoned factories, abandoned houses. And right now you can see it's transforming. And I think this is a beautiful part where you can see the positive impact of change. So a neighborhood that was like unsafe to go to before, it's becoming thriving. People are coming here for riding their bicycle, for a stroll at night next to the river. It has a lot of galleries. So if you love art, appreciate art, it has streets just with I don't know, over 30 galleries around. So we've done even volunteers of TEDxMarvila. We've done a map of art galleries and cultural spots, and there was a lot. So it's really a nice blend. I also love Portuguese tascas, and of course that's what I miss. Sometimes they close up, but there's still few spots. The thing is, Marvila, because it was abandoned, you don't see so much like old spots that were open for a long time because it was abandoned neighborhood. Yeah. But now you can see that people are opening up their studios, their restaurants, and it's beautiful. It's a mix. It's a blend of local Portuguese living with foreigners, which is actually current reality, right, of Portugal.
Yeah, and credit to the Portuguese. They're open to it, like you mentioned, as long as we come in with that respect, with that appreciation of their culture, they'll give that back, and they're wonderful, open people that will welcome you, which is not everywhere in the world is like that.
No, for sure not. And we should be grateful for that, and treat it even better.
Yeah, exactly. And now, what's one thing that you would like people to remember and to take away from our conversation?
One thing, give back. I think that don't only take, but give back. I think that's very important, and I think it's about living anywhere, but especially Portugal. I think we really need to show us a community, and you've managed to build an amazing community, Dylan, and I think that you're helping a lot of people to integrate themselves. I'm sure it's such a nice support system that you're creating for expats. And I think my message will be, we have built lots of support system right now in communities. And now I think we should just think, how can we give back to this beautiful country?
Yeah, I like that a lot. How can people follow you? How can people find you online? Get up to date with what you're doing, see what's happening next with TEDxMarvila. How can people get in touch?
Thank you for asking. So you can find me on both LinkedIn and Instagram under Anel Imanbay. So Anel.Imanbay on Instagram, LinkedIn, my first and last name. And I would ask you to follow my page and also follow TEDxMarvila page, because we're going to be hosting after the summer smaller events that will be also soulful and hopefully very meaningful for those who attend. And the next big event will be next year with the theme that I have already in mind called What is Love? So my purpose is really to always go to the core of hopefully people's hearts to remind us, and myself. I'm actually doing it mostly even for myself as well. I learn a lot from these experiences to understand the core and basis, what sometimes we forget about in the digital world we live today.
Yeah, amazing. I'll put some links in the show notes so that people can follow and get in touch. And now a question that we ask all of our guests: Portugal, the simple life. Why?
Because of its authenticity, because of its sunshine, and its history.
I love that. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Honor of mine, Dylan. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the listeners.
And I'm going to let you call it.
That's a wrap.
So thank you once again to our guest, and thank you to all of you for listening. Please subscribe, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment or a review. We always love to hear from you. Don't forget, Portugal The Simple Life also has a magazine, so download it. It's for free. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode, and as we say in Portugal, sejas bem-vindo. Welcome to The Simple Life.